'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving the Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. Moolah Ric Flair, showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, flush it in the air, Roman Reigns and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving the Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Wrestling RHAPup podcast. I'm your host, Mari Forth, and with me, as always, my co-host, Mr. Matt Scott. Matt, how are you?
I'm living, Mari. I am a transformed person since last week. I had a spiritual experience, actually, on Sunday, believe it or not. With the one, the only, Beyonce.
Yes, Beyonce. And I feel like you were even like baptized at that event as well.
I was baptized. Yeah, it was wild. It was gross. It was horrible. But when Beyonce is being rained on with you, you just do it. You go with it.
Yeah.
Yes, Mari, I like how you also avoided me by going to the show the day before I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
and
not
coming
rain
with me
show
on Sunday. Yeah, the not rain show. The not almost canceled show. Yeah.
Hey. Let's not act like we didn't try to go on the same date. And then somebody here was like, I'm going to go to Pittsburgh instead.
Yeah, but then
see how that
else,
worked out
aka
for you.
Beyonce, was like, I'm not going to go to Pittsburgh because screw Pittsburgh. Like, I don't know if she has a problem with Britt Baker or what, but I didn't like
apparently
that.
the Pittsburgh arena couldn't like hold the effects they were trying to do or something. Like it wasn't built for the stage that they wanted or something, if I remember correctly.
Look, Mari, I just sent you a picture of my look from my attire.
Yes, because I never saw it.
Event. No, well, first of all, I have a hard time remembering things from time to time, but Mari, let me know. You see it. I want your reactions.
Oh my
I want your description.
That's so cute. Yo, you feeling yourself.
What are you looking
I
at?
love that.
What are you looking at? This is an audio medium. Wait,
I'm looking at Matt Scott dressed basically from head to toe in silver. He got a silver cowboy hat.
That's right.
Silver hoochie daddy shorts. Yes. With a silver vest. A silver necklace piece. It looks like
it was like a
bandana.
A bandana with the little things because they did the things.
Oh wow! And then a little half silver sleeve.
That was my wrestling. That's my wrestling gear if I ever do become a wrestler.
Oh my god, this would be great. And then like silver sequencing shoes. Oh my god, this is so cute. I love this.
It's like thank you Amazon.com and Daddy Bezos, but also it's like it's giving Lil Nas X, I would say. Lil Nas X meets Beyonce backup dancer because they were all. I don't know about your night, but they were all wearing silver like all night basically. So
yeah, I love that Beyonce like has different wardrobes for each city. But okay, all right, this is not a Beyonce podcast.
Wait, what are you saying? Why
I know. We have to move on, unfortunately.
No, we don't. Oh, Beyonce. Oh yeah, Beyonce. There we go. Oh, thank you so much. And by the way, I remember back in the day, there were rumors of Beyonce in WWE, like if she would show up. Back in the day,
making that up?
You know how rumors, Mari.
I feel like you're making that up.
No, I'm not making that up. That was the thing.
Oh
Beyonce WWE, Google it. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what her finisher would be. That's all I've got.
The swarm, the hive. Anyways, okay, so
we have to move on, Mari. Thanks for
I know. Let's
move
on to some wrestling news. So wrestling purists are reporting that Kairi Sane is set to return to the WWE. Yeah, I think she wrapped up her obligations at Stardom. I think it is. And so they're saying she might be headed back to WWE before she fully retires. So that's fun. Good for her. Like I'm glad she, she went back to Japan, I think, because they said she was feeling homesick for a while, and now she'll be back, I think, in over like 2 years, 3 years, something like that.
Wow.
I can't
Wow.
wait.
You know what? I have to just say, I appreciate her so much. Not only for her in-ring work and her little captain's hat that she used to wear all the time with the little boat wheel. You're like, what is going on here? What is this gimmick? And it was just so unique, distinct and unique. And so much personality was there. Like, such a talented wrestler. But I think the thing I appreciate was she was just like, look, I'm human. This isn't working for me. I have to go. And now she's coming back, and presumably things are working. Things are in place the way that she needs them to be. And like you said, she has been killing it, featured on Stardom. I'm amazed that she's back, just because
Former women's champion.
I feel like there have been rumors at different points if she would come back or not, but
I think so too, yeah.
This feels good.
Yeah, the good thing is she, like, when she left, there was no bad blood or animosity or anything between her and the company. So,
yeah,
great for her.
Yeah, and just also probably great that, it's not Vince McMahon in there.
Well,
I mean, that's great on so many levels, if you ask me. But
speaking of which,
what are you
other
about to,
news?
Oh, no.
In other news, Triple H will not be on the new board. The new board that is being created by the new parent company of WWE, which is Endeavor, the same company that owns UFC. Of course, they bought WWE a few months ago, and now they are, effectively reestablishing their board members and their ownership and stuff like that. And Triple H will not be included on the board for the first time since like 2015. I want to say it was something like that.
Yeah.
So, this sounds like just from the small news cliplets that we've got since like Vince McMahon ousted as the CEO, Vince McMahon comes back. He sells the company to Endeavor. In that process, 3 board members quit. Stephanie is removed. You know what I'm saying? Like, this feels like I've never seen Succession, but this feels like there's some Succession shit going on in the background that we just do not know, because this does sound like some Game of Thrones stuff. Like Triple H being excluded from the board, Vince McMahon back at the helm of the board and stuff like that. It's icky, yo.
Yeah, you know what? And the thing that's wild about it is, like, I want to be careful because, I mean, we don't know what we're talking about fully when it comes to like the corporate structure and the board and all, but like so many of the people that they already had on their board are rolling over into the new Endeavor board and into those roles. I mean, yes, there are people who've been gone from the board, but to me, it just seems a little off. I don't know if I could wrap my head around the reasoning. Is it like, oh, you have this day-to-day role with the company, so we don't also want you on the board? I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't like it either. You know what? Let me not say anything, get us in trouble. But it's very
What were you about to
interesting.
say?
I'm not gonna say. I'll tell you off mic. No. It feels like I wonder if the people who are no longer on the board were some of the people who were adamant about Vince's removal as CEO. You know what I'm saying? I wonder. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways,
yeah, we need to call up Stephanie, and just, if you're a McMahon listening to this podcast, call in. Mario, what's your number?
I have nothing. I don't know how business works, but it feels weird here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the WWE tag team, women's tag team champions, Sonya Deville tore her ACL.
You know what?
I feel so bad for her. This sucks.
I hate it. I hate it for her. And it's just obviously not great timing in her career. Obviously not great timing for her and for Chelsea Green. And it's tough anytime we see an injury. But when it happens at a point like this, when, you're in your glory, when you're at a peak, definitely in your career and what you're doing, it sucks. Like I really feel for her. And I hate injuries anytime they happen. I feel like ACL tears are contagious because it feels like they're popping around and everyone's getting them, at least in the women's division or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just hoping that she has a good recovery. I have seen Chelsea Green posting a lot on Instagram and on social media since then. I don't know if this means that we'll get like a replacement partner or what. Have you seen anything about their plans on how they will approach it?
So I think I've just seen like Chelsea Green, like in character interviews, like, oh yeah, the belts were cursed, but I'm about to change that. It feels like, I think they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do, but it kind of feels like Chelsea is going to be like interviewing people to be her partner or something like that, which would be so funny and would be in character.
Yeah.
So I think they're still trying to figure it out, but Chelsea is trying to keep like the dream alive, like while they figure it out.
Let me just give you something. Let me give you a pitch on what I hope they do, even though I don't think that this will happen. Chelsea Green needs a new partner. Sonya Deville can't be there. You know who they should call? Mandy.
Oh,
call up Mandy Rose. Get her back in there. I mean, look, it should be like a free bird rule. Anytime that Sonya's doing a cool thing and she can't do it, Mandy should be able to tag in and vice versa. I don't know where Mandy is. Hopefully she's doing very well on Fans Only or whatever it was that she's doing. Bless her. Good for her and her freedom. I hope she's still making $1 million a month. But
that's so much money.
Just it was a lot. She was making a lot in December, and I'm sure she still has some of that and has continued to make money. But no, I would love to see Mandy around if they would have her. I just don't think that's realistic with how things went down, but it would be such a natural fit and natural story. I can't think of anyone else who overlaps with the Tough Enough days, who kind of fills in that spot naturally, or with Chelsea Green, who fills that spot in naturally. But I'm speculating. If listeners, if you have any ideas on like who you would like to see holding those belts with Chelsea, who's obviously not Sonya, let us know. Drop the comments and the things.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just hope she doesn't get stripped of them. I hope they work this into the character some way. I think she should do like tryouts, or maybe she does like matches with people, like maybe because Katana Chance and Kid and Carter are still there. I don't think they should get the belts right now. But what if like the tryout was like every match it would be against those two, and it'd be like Chelsea with a different partner, like, and then she keeps losing and losing until she finds like
just against them.
Yeah, just against them. They're literally the only other women's tag team that
Indy and Candice.
Okay, yeah, Indy and Candice. I like them too. Like,
where have they? Yeah, I mean, they've been around, but not in the ring. Like, actually, where have Katana and Kaden been? You know what? It doesn't matter. They haven't.
Yeah, exactly. So
I like your idea though of the auditioning, and maybe we'll see that. Who knows? But again, all the best to Sonya. It's rough news this week, other than Kyrie, rough news. Still.
Yeah. Yep. But that is it for the news segment. If you haven't already, please go subscribe to the RHAP Reality TV RHAPups feed, where you can get all this really amazing reality TV content, especially since we're going into the fall. That strike is still happening, so there's going to be probably even more reality TV content coming. So you can go to robhasawebsite.com/RHAPups feed. That's RHAPUPS feed in order to subscribe there. Also, if you haven't already, you should be looking at our beautiful faces here on the RHAP YouTube page. Go subscribe to the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page, search Wrestling RHAPup to see all of our content there. Like it's so much better when you can see us. You can see the pictures. You can it's so much better.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Is that all? Those are the plugs?
Yeah, no, those are the plugs. So let's get into the highlights of the week. The highlights
What
of
are
the
we
week.
doing?
Each week we give you the highlights of the week in wrestling. We provide a very handy dandy playlist either in the show notes or show description, so you can watch along with us, or you can just listen and or watch. So of course, Matt, SummerSlam was last week.
Yeah.
The biggest party of the summer was last week.
Side note, they
Yes.
have been using that phrase, the biggest party of the summer, which I
Yes.
loved because we thought it was thrown out and gone, but I heard it dropped a few
Yes.
times during
I did too.
SummerSlam. So reassuring that they keep a good tagline. Like, damn, thank you.
Yes. So before we get into our thoughts of SummerSlam, we are very fortunate enough that one of our listeners and like
Ooh.
fans, and we talk to him on Twitter all the time, Jacob, was at SummerSlam, and he sent us an audio recording because we asked him, what was the crowd like? What, tell us what was your highlights, and he sent us an audio clip, and we're gonna play it right now.
Give us that crispy audio. Let's go.
Hey, Matt and Mari, it is Jacob. Just wanted to give you guys a little insight into what it was like being in the crowd at SummerSlam. So yeah, I drove up to Detroit just for the event. I was super excited. Hadn't been to a live event in about 13 years or so it was really cool to be back. But the crowd was electric, especially starting out. Everyone was so excited. Everyone was loud. Logan Paul and Ricochet starting off the show was great. Everyone was on their feet. It was an incredible match. And it stayed that way for the first couple. And then when Ronda and Shayna had their match, it kind of took some of the air out of the room. A lot of people probably felt like Trish and Becky would have been a better match suited for that. But, it was still good. And then after that, the pop for Bianca winning the title for a split second, and then the next pop when Iyo came out to cash in her Money in the Bank, it was just so cool to see that live. I was up on my feet, I was screaming. But yeah, it was incredible to be there, and I'm very happy that I got to participate in that SummerSlam. Thank you guys so much, and yeah, if you have any other questions, just let me know. Have a good one.
Iconic.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you, Jacob. Living vicariously through you. Like,
I
as I said to Jacob,
know.
next time we need you to bring a wrestling or RHAPup sign. If anyone's going to these shows, bring a wrestling or RHAPup sign, take pictures. And like, when people are like, what's the wrestling? Or like, they probably don't even know to say RHAPup. You could tell them.
Yeah. Promo for
friends.
us, please.
Yeah,
exactly.
please.
That's amazing. I'm so glad to hear that Jacob had a great time. First time in 13 years. That's amazing. That's a pretty good show to go to. Matt, what are some of your like just overall thoughts in general of SummerSlam before we get into some of like the matches and the fallout?
You know what? I think that this was the first watch, it was a really solid card. And I have to say, I feel like WWE has really, I don't know if they've booked themselves into a corner in this way, but they have really been delivering so much on different shows in terms of the specifics, matches, certain stories, certain moments, giving us things that, maybe Vince McMahon and that era wouldn't have given us. So I was mostly over the moon. I was bummed about the Trish Becky match being bumped. We got other matches that I don't think that we needed as much, but overall, like if I had to give it a letter grade, I would give it a B. Why not?
Yeah, same. Like it's very funny. It was like watching it, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. A week removed, I'm like what really was accomplished? You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you. Yeah, it's like what? What
yeah,
did we do
like
here?
like it was
But that's
very
wrestling.
entertaining. Yeah. It was
The
very
smoke and
entertaining in the
mirrors.
moment. Yeah. But once you like stop down and think about it, you're like, but wait, did anything really change?
Yeah, but that's the point. We're not supposed to stop and think about it. So
yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I'd give it the same, like maybe a B minus, C plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, and that's the thing, like that's why I do like when we do our live reactions, because it's like, oh god, it's still pumping, and then but by like a week later you're like, oh, they completely just fumbled the ball on the follow-up or something like that, and it's kind of like it takes the wind out of the sails. But
yeah, and I mean, I think that there's a lot to where I mean, getting into some of the specifics, for instance, and
yeah.
we'll talk more about different stories, but like, for instance, with the Roman Usos story, that definitely took a lot of wind out of people's sails on the show. And I think part of that's the kayfabe aspect of it. Like you want to see Jay succeed and to see Jimmy turn on him. Spoilers, not great. But, you know, I think they followed that up really well. We'll talk about our thoughts on all that. For me, though, the one match and the series of moments really that were just out of this world, the women's triple threat. Like, I remember seeing that match in the ring live and seeing the three competitors, Bianca, Charlotte, and Asuka in there. And I'm thinking, this looks like a WrestleMania match from the competitors to the visuals. And it definitely did not disappoint. I think in a lot of ways it outdid many of the WrestleMania women's triple threats that we've seen, because we've seen many of them these last several years, right?
I definitely think it was the show stealer of the night. And that's like, for me, I think that's bias aside. I truly think it was the show stealer of the night because I think it had the perfect booking. Yeah, it had the perfect match, the perfect in booking and everything. Like a lot of other matches were really good matches that I didn't necessarily like the booking at the end. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I thought it was the triple threat itself was amazing. I was like, when they were working on Bianca's leg, I was like, oh no. I was like, Bianca's gonna tap out to the figure 8. Like it was, you know what I'm saying? Like it's tried and tested. Like they were both working on her legs. There were lots of like really good tandem spots. But like when Bianca is almost carried out, right? Like her leg is so injured that she needs to be taken out of the ring. And I was like, oh God, Bianca, like, okay. I wasn't expecting her to win. Like you saw our predictions. None of us had expected her to win. I was just like, okay, go. We'll watch Asuka and Charlotte. Then when she started crawling back, I was like, no, girl, no, don't do it. Because they had me convinced. I'm like, this is her downfall. She looks like she's like, you know, she's gonna do it. She's gonna win. But then because of the weakness, she's going to lose, you know. And at this point, Charlotte has Asuka in the figure 8. And I was like, oh God, they're gonna do it. They're gonna put it on Charlotte. No, and then Bianca does the 450.
And the height on that 450.
The height on that 450 and then kudos to Charlotte for taking it as well, like directly onto Charlotte.
That can't be good for her back.
I know. And to not get the pin, I was like, oh my God. And then to go into like, okay, then Asuka gets knocked out. Charlotte puts Bianca into the figure 8. I was like, crap, it's about to happen. I was like, oh my God, Charlotte is about to win. And then Asuka comes back to blue miss Charlotte in the face, breaking the figure 8, but still keeping Bianca in the figure 4. Bianca, it breaks the figure 8, but Bianca is still in the figure 4. Asuka goes to kick Bianca in the head. Bianca reverses it into a small package while still in the figure 4.
There we go.
Still in the figure 4 and still managed to get Asuka pinned for 1, 2, 3. That was I didn't see it coming. The end sequence was amazing. Yes.
Let me say this, that the gag for me was the moment that it happened, the moment that the knee injury truly happened, you know, where Bianca goes over the top rope, hits the steps. It sounded like a gunshot went off. You're like, oh my gosh, something went wrong. Bianca's hurt. People, the front row reacted like, what the fuck? Like they were staring at her, like jumping up and down, freaked out. People were clapping as she was being walked out, Mari. These people, I believe, thought it was a shoot legit injury. They were clapping for her. There were babies crying. Their moms covering their kids' eyes. Like, this was the most dramatic moment I have seen in a long time with wrestling. Because I was wondering, is she okay? Is she fine? Because the way people reacted was it added to the moment. And then you see her crawling back. Like you said, everything that you laid out was so powerful. I was not expecting Bianca to win it.
Not at all.
And the way that it happened was beautiful. And everything that happened after that, no offense to Bianca, but even better.
Even better. I know. Like it was great.
Bianca gets screwed at SummerSlam. Bianca gets screwed
again.
at SummerSlam is like the big headline. This is now her shortest match at SummerSlam after the 26 seconds.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize that.
No one's been talking about that because there's so many different dynamics happening here.
That's so funny. Bianca is like, she's so amazing. Like, I was like, oh my God, Bianca won. I was like, oh my God, my fave won again. Like, I can't even comprehend this. And then Iyo's music, like, just as you're forgetting about Iyo, her music hits, and you're like, yes. And it's like, that cash-in was great. Bianca, like, just amazing. And then Dakota Kai was there. So did you hear the story? Dakota Kai was told at 1 p.m. that Saturday that Iyo was gonna win, and they asked her to get on a plane to be there for it. She couldn't get
what?
She was in Florida and she had to fly to Detroit. Yes. And she said that like she was supposed to get on an earlier flight. That flight didn't take off, so she ended up on another flight. She touched down during Gunther and Drew.
No.
Yes. And like they said she like barely made it to arena. Bailey said I think they said somewhere that Bailey said she was shocked that she was able to get there in time. Like yeah.
What? That's why it looked like she was coming from the crowd, because she literally
was coming from the crowd. Yeah.
She's like got her ticket. They're like,
Dakota
man, we can't let you through.
Dakota said like a woman had to like help her with her makeup and stuff in the car on the way to the venue. Like that's how. So go check out Dakota. Dakota was talking about it on her Twitch stream. So go check out Dakota Kai's Twitch stream where she talks about what happened.
I love that they allowed, not even that they allowed that, but yeah, that they had her back in this moment, because it does answer so many questions. It really does bring things full circle for Damage Control, who debuted a year ago at SummerSlam, and it would just feel wrong if Dakota wasn't there, but she tore her ACL.
Yeah,
previously.
And it's
she's
but
on her feet.
She didn't have any braces on.
No, she got past that phase of it, thankfully.
Nice.
And I remember seeing on Instagram or somewhere a month or two ago that she no longer had to be on crutches or in the brace or whatever. So, I mean, as long as she's in a good spot, I'm happy. But it just makes me happy to see her. Just like on an unrelated note, a couple weeks ago, one of our phenomenal listeners mentioned The Weakest Link on Peacock, and Big E was on there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it just makes me happy to see you and to just see that you're smiling and okay. And I feel like that with Dakota. Obviously, we take it very hard when people are injured, as you can tell with Sonya. So,
but did we talk about it last week? Like there were rumors that like Big E might not be able to wrestle again.
I feel like that has been a little bit of the conversation over the course of his injury.
Over the course of it,
So, I mean, honestly, I don't put that much stock in rumors that someone won't be able to wrestle again, just because we've seen it so many times with these neck injuries. So I'm hopeful that one day he'll be able to, but damn, it is, that's horrible. That's horrible. But then it makes you feel good when you see people come back like Dakota, who are able to do what they love, right? And hopefully Big E is able to do what he loves too. Another great 3-person faction.
Yeah, I think Kofi is back from injury as well. Kofi and Xavier attacked the Viking Raiders this week on Raw. So
yeah,
a lot of good coming. But the women's triple threat at SummerSlam was so good. And they followed it up this week on SmackDown with Charlotte and Asuka having a one-on-one on SmackDown. And Iyo and Damage Control, Iyo, Bailey, Dakota was there again as well, just laying them both out, just to be like, Io's the champion. Like, she's here.
Remind them who you are, Iyo. Come on. Like, that's what it's about. And it's great to see her with that belt, but also I just love seeing Dakota so much back. It just makes it fills a hole in my heart to see her there. And it just adds to the level of meaning, right? We've been talking so much about Bailey and Iyo and the breakup, and Damage Control, in my opinion, is not ready for a breakup. Maybe they were at different points in the last year after WrestleMania or so, but new life is definitely injected into that with the championship. It's cool.
Yeah, and it was feeling like we were gonna get like a Dakota like face turn on Bailey, you know, but looking at the dynamics, there's too many faces over there. So Damage Control has to stay heels. I think this feels like it's like setting up for it feels like this is setting up for Survivor Series or something like that, you know. We didn't get any Bianca this week. I think she's still selling her injury, which is I love when wrestlers do that. I honestly love when wrestlers do that.
Yeah.
So we'll see where this goes. But again, the SmackDown women's division is just top notch, man.
You know what? But you know, the women in general are always like head and shoulders above the rest. I feel like in terms of what they're able to deliver when given the space, when given the time, all of it. So no surprise there. And I think the beautiful thing here is Iyo with that championship. It feels so different. It was not. I'm surprised we didn't really talk about that possibility more, because it just didn't feel like we talked about the failed cash-in possibility. We talked about the Bailey Shotzi dynamic, and if like Bailey might even turn on Iyo just because of Money in the Bank. We might get that story with the other Money in the Bank briefcase, but we don't have that here. So
yeah,
I mean,
I like I said, they hyped up the failed cash-in like all the way up until Money in the Bank. I think even maybe not even a week or so after, like the moment they decide, because I'm wondering if, like I said, remember when we were talking about the lead up to Money in the Bank, and I was like, I could see Zelina winning it and then failing to cash in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think Iyo was gonna win it because, did I say this before? But like,
yes,
if Iyo wins, then it wouldn't make sense to fail the cash in. You know what I'm saying? Like we talked about the different fail cash in, but the moment it feels like the moment she won it, they dropped that. Like maybe, you know, they dropped it. Cause remember I was saying like I haven't heard it in weeks. So it could have been one of those things where, you know, it wasn't a long-term plan until it was a long-term plan. You know what I'm saying? So either way, I'm glad she has the belt.
I saw this happen. I immediately thought of Damian Priest and that dynamic. We'll get over to Judgment Day eventually, but
now it kind of makes you wonder if that's gonna fail the cash in.
Smells like a failed cash in to me.
Yeah.
Sadly.
So they're like, you can't have two failed cash in. So yeah. Either way, you're right. Iyo's the women's champion. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do. There's so many little pay-per-views between now and Survivor Series. So we still have we have
4 or 5.
Yeah, we have Payback, Elimination Chamber,
Fastlane,
Fastlane,
Saudi show.
Yeah,
Saudi show. So
it's like I don't know what so but anyways, I'm so happy for her. Can't wait to see where she goes next.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see our girl Dakota Kai take that championship from Iyo and be the champion. So that's what I'm waiting
I can't wait to see what happens with Bianca as well. I wonder if this is gonna add to her more edgy side.
She could take a break if she wants right now.
Honestly,
you know, for a month, why not? She works too damn hard.
She does.
Yeah.
And I don't think we talked about it, but she looked so good at that in that triple threat match. She got
like a C4 energy drink.
She got the C4 spot. Like they're saying, like the sponsors are reaching out for her, so she got the because we should have known though. Did you? So Charlotte came out first to that match. Then Asuka came out, which I hate when the champion doesn't come out last.
Ooh.
Yeah, I clocked it. I clocked it immediately. And then Bianca came out last, and I just assumed she came out last because she had the C4 she had to stop to do the C4. She had the C4 the C4 colors. Her hair, the blonde hair, Matt. I love the blonde. She looks so good.
Doing her best Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I love that Bianca even had another championship reign to add to those numbers.
Those numbers, yeah.
But yeah, she must be so tired. I mean, sure, there's the kayfabe knee
Carrying that company on her.
/ACL injury, but yeah, her back must be damn
Carrying this
like sore
country.
from carrying that whole
This
company.
company.
So
Yeah.
take it off. Take some time. Take some time.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering if this whole like getting cashed in on, getting screwed at SummerSlam is gonna lead her to like a more edgy area. So I love this. I love this for my fave. Also, oh yeah, and that's what I was about to say. Slim Jim demanded like her being in their ad as well. Like,
Yeah,
there was a Slim Jim spot with her and LA Knight.
yeah. But you know what? That's not a great diet between C4 energy drinks, you know, Slim Jims, and some Mike's Hard Lemonade. Really? Really?
Oh my God. That's they're like, we know what WWE fans ingest. like, oh.
That scares me. They need a disclaimer at the beginning of the show, like, please don't ingest all these things at once. It is not a balanced diet. Like, look to your food pyramid for the best advice.
Oh my
Consult
God.
a dietitian.
Yeah, it's so good. All right, let's move on to the next match in SummerSlam. That we got a few questions from the Rob Has a Squad cast Facebook group, the unofficial Facebook group of the Wrestling RHAPup. Logan Paul and Ricochet, like Jacob said, Logan Paul and Ricochet started the show, and it was like, it felt electric. It felt like it was a really, really good match, and I'm mad that I wanted Ricochet to win. I wanted Ricochet to win. I knew he wasn't,
Sure,
but I wanted him to win. I like that Logan Paul used the brass knucks for the win.
that cheating fool.
That cheating.
Look at him.
It was good. It was good. It saved Ricochet a lot of face. I think it did. It went amazing. So we got a question from Edmo from Facebook group. Why is Logan Paul so good? I think everybody wants to hate him, but the matches he puts out, I mean, he's good. We talk about it, right, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, he's great.
Good.
I mean, we don't hate him as a wrestling performer. I mean, you know this, Edmo, but like, I think for us, you can't hate him as a wrestling performer because he's a natural. Right. He's a natural heel, and he is so athletic. You could tell that he's someone who probably, like a lot of the influencer types, YouTuber types, who kind of just gets dismissed for not putting in the work. But look at him. Like, he clearly is a hard worker. He clearly is willing to train and to practice and make sure that he comes off looking good. And you have to admire that, you know, just a little bit. That's the part of it where I'm like, ooh, I like this guy. I like his respect for the business.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like him as a person, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. This is wrestling.
Exactly. And he hasn't had a bad match yet, honestly. So good for him. And I love that this is elevating Ricochet and all of that. So kudos. Wes in the Facebook group also said, is Ricochet a better overall wrestler than he gets credit for? Is he a better I think so. I guess this depends. Yeah, I guess this depends. It's like, is he like the credit level? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he getting enough credit?
And I think it also depends what you mean by wrestler.
Wrestler, you know? Exactly. Yeah.
Like, are we talking? Go for it.
He's an amazing wrestler. Like that, I feel like that is not in doubt. I think like we've said on this very program before, it's like his character work. Like, they haven't given him anything to really chew on for a character, and then his promos. So I mean, I think he's the full package, the total package. They just need to find that. They need to find that something that'll like boost him even higher.
I think the thing that throws me off with him a little bit, though, is that I just need a little spice, a little like cinnamon, a little pepper, a little salt, a little cardamom, a little like just throw it all in. Yeah, like just put it in there, because I'll give you an example. On Raw, Ricochet comes out, and you know, he didn't talk about the Logan Paul situation as he was coming out for his match, and blah, blah. We got all that. He looked just like the same old Ricochet to me. And, you know, maybe that's just a personal preference thing, because I'm very into the aesthetic of it all. But I just feel like I wish his gear could have changed a little. I wish something would seem different about him as he's on that more elevated level. But he's just looks visually the same. And I just think there's something when someone goes through a big change like this or has a big moment where you need to like have different gear that signifies that, or like look like the main event star. And he just looks the same, which, you know, I don't know if that's on him or on the writers and others, but I don't know. Like maybe he could wear the little trunks and not the long pants. I don't know what his change would be, but switch it up. I don't know what his leg situation.
Naked. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know what his leg situation is.
I agree. Like, I feel like he could zhuzh up his like ring attire, maybe like some sort of coat, some like cool jacket.
I think he should wear a silver sequined cowboy hat and silver sequined shoes.
Yeah.
Maybe like a hoodie type of vest, bandana, like little frilly things.
Go full Beyonce tour.
Yeah, just full Beyonce, because I think he'd fit right in with her backup dancers. But no, I mean, between that, you know, we got the tease of a Samantha Irvin situation, and she just announced Logan Paul as the winner like normal, and then it cuts to her and she's just giving like a stink. I was gonna say a stink face because Rikishi's been on my mind a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I've been watching side note, I've been watching a ton of Rikishi clips recently. So but yeah, she was giving like that just stank look at like, I can't believe I had to do that. I'm so disgusted. She's like gagging, about to throw up at the fact that she had to say Logan Paul's name. So
that's funny.
I just wish there was more with that, though. I mean, if you're going to acknowledge the relationship, and I don't know how they feel about this, but I would like to see more of that relationship on the screen because it adds depth to both of them, but to Ricochet as a character. Just makes him more relatable and like even more lovable.
Yeah, exactly. Wes also asks, so both Logan Paul and Bad Bunny have put on some incredible matches, aided in no small part that they have been paired with some incredible workers. Very true. Also, Bad Bunny's matches are more reliant on him doing big spot work. Very true. But I feel like a match between them, they both have homes in Puerto Rico, so this could work out, would have a really strong train wreck potential because both lack experience in putting their opponents over.
Oh my God.
I know. I was like, wait, I thought that was going in a good direction.
I know. I hadn't read that before. Well, damn.
I know.
No, I mean, look, here's what I'll say is I think that I hear where Wes is coming from, but I also think that there's something to high achievers that they don't want to mess up. I don't think that Bad Bunny and Logan Paul, I mean, yes, there would definitely be some messy moments in there and maybe a couple of botches and miscommunications, but that's going to be a damn good match because the world's eyes are going to be on that match. Like that's, dare I say it, is that the biggest match that WWE could put on in 2023, 2024? Like think of two
possibilities.
What else would draw the eyeballs? So
right.
I mean, Wes with the freaking booking here. Yeah, give it to us in Puerto Rico next year.
I think what would be cool too is like if they were, each one of them were on a War Games side, like them in War Games.
I like that as a feud, so you get different types of matches with them. Or maybe they get to gel too, so it's not just a one-on-one, but like they get, you know, kind of like the Ronda Rousey treatment where, you know, they just have different opportunities to gel. And then, you know, Ronda became maybe she's not the best comparison here, but she became a wrestler who could like have a match that didn't seem like it was overly scripted and overly rehearsed, which actually worked really well for her in her first year. But damn, like, I believe in them. I believe in Bad Bunny and Logan. No doubt. They've both been in there with like some of the biggest stars too. They're not going to let that miss. They like WWE wouldn't let Ronda miss that first year. They won't let them miss if they're out there.
They're both really good, but maybe it might be just too soon to put them like together one-on-one. Maybe just, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, they would have to build chemistry or something first. Like you couldn't just be like, this is a marquee match, we're throwing it out there. Like I think you should have to definitely build towards it, like you said.
Yeah, but also you want to squeeze all of the juice out of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you have so much that you could gain and so much exposure that can't just be one match. Like it needs to be a feud. It needs to be, you know, like you said, the War Games and the multiple matches. So we'll see. I'm curious. I could really see that happening. It's not even that far off between what Bad Bunny was doing with the Judgment Day around the Puerto Rico show, Backlash, and Logan Paul could pop up in anything. So we'll see.
Yeah. I want to talk about Shayna versus Ronda next. Okay.
What do you want to say?
I know Jacob said that it took the wind out of the audience's sails. And
oops.
I don't know if I could clock that at the moment. Honestly. But let me just say. Maybe because the bar was in hell. But I actually enjoyed that match. Now, if the outcome was different, I probably would be saying something different right now. But Shayna won convincingly. And when they first said MMA rules, right? I was like, it feels like an excuse to just do like sloppy ass work, right? It was giving me flashbacks to like Ronda Charlotte SummerSlam Survivor Series 2018 that I saw in person that I hated and I thought was just sloppy as hell. I feel like the MMA rules for the two of them who actually do MMA, it made it look so much better. Like I was sitting there, I was like, oh, okay. Okay. Like it felt like it was just enough MMA and just the right amount of pro wrestling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it felt like staged MMA and it felt so smooth. I was like, you could just tell these women have been working together for 10 plus years or however many it was. Like I actually was like very impressed by this match. Like again, the bar was in hell, but and then it was only like 3 minutes. Which makes sense because in MMA, them shits don't last that long when you're really hitting people.
Yeah.
And we find out that Ronda really needs Shayna in the face. I really like that I really like that they started off with the kick. Like when Shayna just kicks Ronda in the head, like a homage to the Holly Holm knockout that, you know, like I am shocked that I like this match.
That's because I think what worked out so well here is that WWE has learned from their mistakes before, and they booked this, like, you know how in college you might have a course that's like chemistry for non-science majors or whatever it might be. It's like a different. This to me felt like MMA for non-MMA fans or MMA for wrestling fans because they had that kick, which was very wrestling, but also MMA. They had Ronda do that freaking, you know, climb up Shayna, knee her in the face type of move, which also was very pro wrestling, but also very MMA. So I like that they did it the way that they did it. My only real critique, honestly, Mari, is that the finish, I mean, maybe it just felt like an MMA finish. Like it wasn't as climactic. Like it wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna hit you with the DDT and then I'll hit you with the shooting star press, and then like it wasn't all of that. It was just like
because they couldn't get a pin. It had to be a tap out or submission.
But I just think that the one thing is I wish that it felt like a wrestling match more in the sense that there could be a build to the finish. Whereas it felt like to me the finish just happened.
Yeah, because I agree. It did, but to me, that's what made it like believably MMA because again, you just never know with those matches. And as somebody who said swear up and down, I don't like MMA. I truly don't. But I think they did a good job here because it was a little bit of flair because Ronda had Shayna in the armbar after Shayna was fighting it for so long. And Shayna was able to counter the armbar a few times, but Shayna was still favoring the arm that I believe it was her left arm was being worked. So in the finish, if you're paying attention really closely to the finish, Shayna goes to put in the Karafuda clutch with her left arm, and she has to actually readjust to put it into her her arm that's not been worked. And then as Ronda's trying to break out of the Karafuda clutch with the bad arm, Shayna is actually biting her other mitt in order to keep the hold in order for Ronda to tap out, like to pass out. Like, I get it that it wasn't big and fancy like a WWE finish, but in a submission MMA match finish, it was like, I loved it. It was basically just a submission match. How many submission matches have we seen with Natty? And it's kind of boring because it's like, oh, you're going for the sharpshooter and stuff like that. Like, no offense to Natty. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, normally if you just name it a submission match, the shit gets like very boring because it's like either Natty or Becky and they're trying to do the disarmer, they're trying to do, like, it felt a little bit more real and gritty. And I actually really, really liked it. I think Shayna getting that win was fucking perfect. Shayna showing up the next night on Raw with her 2 black eyes, no makeup. That was badass. It was scary, but it was badass. It was like really badass. Like, dog, look at my eye. Look at my eye. I'm like busted, but I'm about to take on Zoe Stark right now.
I have to say, Mari, you're right. You're right. Mari's right. Like, because at the end of the day, if you're an MMA fan, you're not going to be disgusted by the match at all, because you have 2 legit MMA fighters who are kind of MMAing. Like, Ronda and Shayna know what MMA is. Like, they know that like, they knew what they were doing from that sense, but they're also wrestlers and they know what they're doing from that sense. And so I can't remember who the producer was for that match, but just kudos to them and to Ronda and Shayna for making it work. Definitely a good way for Ronda to go out.
Yeah.
Until next time. Until next time. When do you think we'll see Ronda back?
Maybe Royal Rumble. Maybe she comes in cost Shayna the Royal Rumble.
Maybe Royal Rumble 2025. Let's give her a break. She works hard.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's the way you do it. You go out staring at the lights for your best friend.
Yeah, but the Royal Rumble is not where you really want Ronda to show up, because as we've seen in the past, she does very well in Rumbles, or at least she's good at like showing up and taking Asuka's spotlight at a Royal Rumble. So you know what? I'm just saying.
Or maybe like Survivor Series. We don't know. I don't know what it is, but like, I feel like this was like the passing of the torch. Whatever they were gonna do with Ronda was like, I'm outie. Let me pass the torch to Shayna, because now Shayna is going. She's saying like her catchphrase now is like, "Who's the baddest now?" Which I love that shit. Like when she came out on Raw, people started chanting, "Thank you, Shayna." Like, I am so like, this was the feud they needed to get her over. She is over now, and I think they're doing a great job. This looks like it may. So good too. I know, like, this is amazing. They're doing great work here with Shayna. I'm so happy for her that it feels like she's finally getting like an organic push, and like she's building momentum. And I want to get your thoughts on the Raw segment, because it's Becky versus Zoe Stark, because of course Becky and Trish have their match this coming up week. Zoe Stark is out there talking about, I'm the protege, I'm good because Trish picked me. It was Zoe Stark was in the ring with 2 giants, and unfortunately she slayed neither. It was it was not good on my end. It was almost and you know what? They could have been chanting "Thank you, Shayna," for saving them from Zoe's promo. Yeah, damn. To be quite honest, like, what were your thoughts on this promo and then this match afterwards between Shayna and Zoe?
Well, I just think that I didn't read Zoe's character as delusional heel.
No.
And it's very strange.
That's not good. Yeah.
Because it's like, what is your character supposed to be in this moment other than Trish's protege?
It felt like she was dead serious. And it's like,
I also felt like I was expecting a bit more from her in this match, like more of a spotlight for her in this match. It wasn't as smooth as I thought it'd be, because they're both so intense. Like Shayna, obviously brings the intensity. Zoe often brings the intensity, but there was something for me that just didn't fully click in the match itself. But yeah, it kind of felt like Zoe was just there and getting eaten up by two future Hall of Famers.
It goes to show you, like, she's still green in a sense when it comes to wrestling. I'm trying to figure out, I can't remember if Zoe was like I'm trying to like Google it real quick, but I can't remember if she was like an indie wrestler or whatever.
I want to say she was, but
Yeah.
I only say that because I'm sure we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
And I know
She's
that
like
she's
29
from Utah. Other
Mhm.
things, but when she debuted in 2013,
Yeah,
so yes, she
yeah.
was an indie wrestler under the name of Lacey
Lacey
Ryan,
Ryan. Yeah.
which I did not know her back then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So
You
I
know,
don't know. So
I know
yeah.
it's weird because like we want Zoe to land on her feet from this situation with Trish, and it does seem
Right.
like we're in like the third or fourth quarter of the feud with Trish
Mhm.
and Becky. So where does it leave Zoe? I mean,
Yeah. It
I
felt like
don't
they
think
were trying to test the waters here to see if Zoe will be able to like fly on her own once Trish was gone, because Trish wasn't here. And Zoe trying to go back and forth with Becky on the mic just did
no.
not
Well,
work.
but it's Becky. And
It's Becky.
it's
Exactly.
tough because it's like Becky's not trying to eat her up on the mic, but
No,
Becky's just trying to do what she does. And
exactly.
Zoe's not on that level with that experience yet,
Exactly.
unfortunately. And even Shayna has that experience
Mhm.
gaining it. And she's not even known for her mic work, but we've seen her shine in the last month with that
And Shayna
against
ate her up
Ronda.
too.
So yeah, but you know what? You have to be thrown out to the wolves and you learn
Mhm.
from those lessons. Like she'll be
Yeah.
better in the future because of it. And I hope that they'll continue to give her opportunities to find herself. It's kind of like the Ricochet thing. Like maybe he isn't like, he's not, I'm not going to say, well, he's not like the best on promos, but he
Yeah.
definitely got better over the course of the feud with Logan Paul. So I have to admire the fact that they at least put her in that spot, even though it wasn't the best.
And you know what it is? Like, I think it could be something so simple as like Zoe Stark's like her voice was cracking. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
when she was doing the promo. Like
I
and
didn't say anything.
but the funny thing is I think it's just like literal mic work. It's the difference between like talking normally into a mic and trying to sound sinister. Like there's a reason why I'm Trisha's protege. I have the tools. I am the one that was hand chosen versus there's a reason I'm Trisha's protege. I was
Or,
hand chosen. You know what I'm saying? Like that
yeah,
yelling.
or it's like, there's a reason I'm Trisha's protege. And then it's
Mhm.
like, oh, everyone's leaning in. Like, why? Why are you Trisha's
Yeah.
protege? What do you do? Did she like, was she your
Right.
like pre? I was gonna say, was she
She's
your
putting
preschool
yeah.
teacher? Like, is Trish actually your mom? What? I don't know.
She was
I don't
putting the
know.
wrong emphasis on some of the words too. Like, so I
Yeah,
don't
let's
know if
do a
it's
promo class for her.
I know,
Call
right?
Zoe, if you're listening, which you should be, just call us. Mari, what's your number
Yeah.
again? Yeah,
No,
just
no, no,
drop it.
no.
Okay.
Like it exactly. It was like she probably more than likely had to remember that promo because it was written for her and she just needs to work on her delivery. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like
remembered it.
we don't know if Becky's off script. Becky, I would assume, is normally off script because they trust her enough. Shayna, I felt like she was probably on script, but just really good at the delivery of it. So I think Zoe just needs to work on that. Like my advice to like people is like don't scream into the mic because when you're screaming into the mic, you sound crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I know
Yeah.
you might be trying to scream over the crowd, but honestly, if the crowd wants to hear you, like bring your tone down lower so they have to shut up if they want to hear you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Look at this. Masterclass Mari Forth right
yeah.
here. Give it to us. Thank you.
Anyways, so Shayna gets the win over Zoe, I believe, if I remember correctly. And I think
Yeah.
so, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
100%.
Becky just being a clown on the side. and it was great. And I'm trying to figure out if this is gonna lead to a Shayna Becky feud, because remember, Becky was like the last person to really beat Shayna when it comes to like a singles competition after Shayna won the Elimination Chamber back in 2019 and failed to win the women's championship or whatever. Was it 2019 or 2020? Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Back in the pandemic, the pandemic WrestleMania, whichever the pandemic. So 2020, yeah. So like I think I would kind of love to see a Shayna Becky feud. However, they'd have to figure out what the alignments are or whatever. But
how do you get there?
Yeah, how do you get
is
there?
the big
Exactly.
question, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
I mean, I think that this, I guess this also could maybe sooner than a Shayna Becky feud. I mean, I could see a Shayna Becky, not a tag team, but just them teaming up for a match,
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Ooh,
interesting.
But like I said, I'm shooketh that I actually enjoyed Shayna versus Ronda at SummerSlam. It was so technical. I know. I love a good technical match sometimes.
Yes.
So it was great. All right, let's try and break down this Judgment Day stuff. So Finn loses to Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. You know how I feel about that. I'm just like, stop playing in Finn Balor's face, yo. Like, I'm mad. Like, I wanted him to get that belt so badly.
Yeah, but then I thought about it after, and it kind of made sense. Just like, okay, we didn't really, every time we spoke about it, Mari, we didn't have anything for Seth as a follow-up. Like, we were like, oh yeah, Seth could take a break. But if you really think about it, I feel like Finn not winning is more about Seth needing something to do and a path for where he's going than it is about Finn in the Judgment Day. Because in isolation, right? The story that we thought we wanted to see, that we thought we were going to see, Finn wins the championship, Damian Priest still has Money in the Bank. We see that tension. Like, that would have been great, but it kind of just feeds into everything being about the Judgment Day, which does leave a massive star and merch opportunity, like Seth Rollins kind of in the middle of nowhere doing what? So I get it in retrospect, but I had blinders totally toward this. Like, I really thought that Finn was going to win.
It's such a good
and I
feud.
wanted it.
It's just a good storyline feud that it sucks that it's wasted on, like, yeah. But anyways, yeah. The match was good. There was a lot of shenanigans. It was like, let's do plan A, let's do plan B. Like, I was confused. I was like, what is
Me too?
What is plan A? What is plan B? Is he cashing in? Is he helping?
I need
is
the
he
playbook.
Like, what is the plan? I know. And but Finn loses, and it is kind of Damian Priest's fault.
No, Finn is a goof. Like, what the hell? Just take the briefcase. Take it and be like,
that's true.
The biggest clownery that I saw was Priest gives Finn the briefcase to use as a weapon, and he gets his forehead smashed into the briefcase on the way to losing with the curb stomp from Seth. Like, what are you doing, sir? You're supposed to know how to wrestle. You are Finn Balor. You've been wrestling for like 20 years. Come on.
There's definitely some miscommunication, because I don't know if I initially thought Damian Priest was giving him the case to use against Seth so he could win. But maybe Finn thought that Damian Priest was giving Finn the case so that he could cash in so he could win. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Finn is exact. You're 100% spot on. I think that's the story they're telling us. And Finn is just insecure. Which, like, I would be too if I were him.
Yeah.
But wait, first of all, let me just say, I want to give credit to this match where it's due, because the finish and how it went wasn't great, but like the story that they were telling in the beginning part of that match, where you see Finn, really attacking, I think, the shoulder for Seth, and then of course he does the
buckle
call it like the buckle bomb spot on the outside into the barricade. Like, they were really doing a beautiful job referencing that. I thought that first half of the match was like 5 stars, like just as good as the women's match. And then it kind of fell apart with the shenanigans, but I was a fan. I loved it. I was expecting more. But this is what they gave us, right?
Yeah. And on Monday, lots of like convolutedness going on. Like, so
where do we begin?
Where do we begin? Exactly. Like, so Seth Rollins kind of moves on to like challenging Cody Rhodes, and it's kind of stupid, but I had to remind myself that that, you know, Seth Rollins was the person that Cody Rhodes debuted against, and that Rollins was the person that he had the crazy Hell in the Cell against, you know. Because I had to remind myself, because they are now both faces, you know.
Yeah,
right, you know. So like they come out, and then Sami Zayn, and then poor Kevin Owens. We talked about Kevin Owens he's injured, and they're trying to stand up to the Judgment Day. No Finn out there at first, because he's in his feels, he's in his fifis.
Yeah.
But we end up getting announced like a 6-man tag between Cody Rhodes, Rollins, Sami Zayn against the Judgment Day members of Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Dominic. You have been talking about JD McDonough popping up, and JD McDonough popped up again here.
But have I been talking about it, or just trying not to talk about it?
Well, yeah.
Both, yeah. And he did show up, and Finn makes the comment like, anything you could say to me, you could say to JD, which I think that the camera people did exactly what I wanted, because they did first they had JD and Finn and Priest in there, and then they just cropped in on Finn and Priest. I'm like, thank you. Don't look at that man's face.
Exactly.
Gross.
But he's basically kind of just sewing in more. It feels like just more disruption to the Judgment Day, because they're like, maybe you should cash that thing in soon so that like you get rid of it. And it's like it is very like some jealousy peeking in here. Rhea is still trying to like hold the group together.
Yeah.
So I think what you were saying a little bit earlier, the vibes are, will Damian Priest fail his cash in due to Finn?
And JD maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
JD, yes, maybe JD costs for Finn. Sorry, keep going.
Maybe all of it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, look, first of all, JD McDonough needs to go to Wrestler's Court, because what are you doing telling Damian Priest and Finn Balor what you think? Nobody cares what you think.
Nobody cares.
Like, you are not a veteran. You are fresh from NXT. What have you accomplished on the main roster? Even Finn should look at you and be like, come, so just go eat your Cheerios. Like, eat your Cheerios. What are you doing? But there we go. So that's strange. And I honestly don't even know why he's a character on our TV, other than the fact he has a relationship with Finn. But I think that's it. You know what, though? I do think that it's going to be a hard road for Priest to cash in and get the championship, because it does seem like Finn at this point is against him. It seems like JD is against him. And part of me does wonder, though, if we're going to see JD and Finn spring off into their own thing and leave the rest of them for Judgment Day. Or if we're going to see Priest like excommunicated from the Judgment Day and replaced by JD McDonough. I'm not ready to think about all that right now, but like, I think that could happen.
Yeah, I think if anything, if Rhea and Dom had a pick who to go with, I think they would go with Priest, honestly.
I mean, why not?
Well, that, because we do know like backstage, like Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley have been friends for a very long time. Also, shout out to Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews for getting engaged.
Oh, fun!
They're engaged officially now.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
I was like, now we're just gonna ignore that, because look, I'm just saying, hopefully they bring Dom on the honeymoon. Like it's so natural. It's such a natural story. By the way,
Buddy Matthews is sick and tired of Max Caster's
total
jokes.
side note, you probably remember this, Mari, but I didn't realize Facebook is messy. And I've seen some stuff on Facebook about how years ago, Buddy Matthews, when he was Buddy Murphy, made out with Dom's sister in a storyline.
Yes, Aaliyah, yeah.
Okay,
Mysterio.
you remember this.
Oh, yeah.
So people were theorizing that this is like a Dom's plot to like get back at Buddy and Rhea, and he's gonna like just have a face turn at some point. Like, I did this because your husband made out. I don't know. It's weird. It was stupid. Facebook is wild. But
it's wild place, yeah.
I have to acknowledge that on the podcast that there are conspiracy theories about Dom being like a secret agent.
That wouldn't make sense. They'd have to expose so much like behind her and stuff in order for it to make sense.
And be like, wait, you're also married, but we just didn't acknowledge. Okay, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very circle, but because I think Buddy and Dom are friends. They're all friends, you know, but
hence everybody's the joint honeymoon.
Shots. Yeah. Anyways, breaking kayfabe there for a second. So
wait, it gets even more convoluted.
Yes,
it gets even more convoluted because at some point,
Sami Zayn is taken out.
Yes, by JD.
JD takes.
Which
Sami
I'm like,
out.
wait, what? Why did that happen?
It feels like, so we don't know, but it feels like JD is trying to like kind of earn his way into Judgment Day or just like taking orders from Finn. So I think JD takes out Sami, and then so Nakamura decides to like volunteer to help them out, so now it's Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Nakamura versus the Judgment Day.
What a team.
What's a team? Cody Rhodes and Seth are kind of like fighting so much. Sami's trying to get them on the same page. They're still fighting because it's like, I like this moment because it felt like they're both trying to be the top baby face. You know what I'm saying? Right? It's like, oh, I'm the champion, but also Cody is like, but I'm the number one.
And not only that, but the fact that Cody all night, to me, Seth was playing second fiddle. Like, Seth wasn't having his music played at the end of the segments. The shot at the start of the show when they were all in the ring was on Cody, and it goes wider. Oh, Seth is there, and then you see him not feeling content with that. Cody makes a comment about, which totally unnecessary. Cody, you messy person. You said Sami Zayn is my friend, and also Seth Rollins is here. So like, maybe you shouldn't have done that. Maybe you didn't need to do that.
That's
so
hilarious.
I blame Cody. And I'm glad that Seth's not okay with being second fiddle to Cody.
Cody ends up getting the pin on Judgment Day, and they win, but Seth and Cody are fighting, because like, oh, but I wanted to win. Can you bring that picture back up? And
oh my God.
Sami Zayn comes out. Sami Zayn comes out to like also help, even though he was injured. And I don't know if you're on the website and if you could hit like the next picture, but it was like WWE's three. Okay, it's fine. But it's like WWE's three top baby faces are in the ring, right? Sami Zayn is like mediating between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and Nakamura is just there, like on the side. And Sami Zayn goes to raise Cody and Seth's hands. And then finally, Cody grabs Nakamura to raise his hand as well. Yeah. The three of them go to celebrate on the turnbuckles. Cody, Seth, Sami. And again, I'm sitting here like, all of these baby faces in this ring. Seth Rollins jumps down and Nakamura blasts him with a Kinshasa. Tops out of the ring, looking like a smooth badass. Like,
I mean, and he is, my God. But it's hilarious because
this is my
Nak was just, if you know it's coming, like Nak was just standing there in the corner. The three of them, Sami, Cody, Seth, they're standing up on the second turnbuckle, like posing in each of their respective corners, and Nakamura is just leaning in the corner, standing around. You're like, why is Nak just appreciating them? Does he not feel like as big of a star? Why is he not doing it? And Seth gets down and gets that freaking boot in his face like he deserved it, because Shinsuke Nakamura is back, baby.
I love heel Nakamura. Like, I absolutely love heel Shinsuke Nakamura. That man exudes charisma and just it's so sexy. Like, him walking out of that ring, just like smoothing his hair back, like, yes, I just kicked the champion. And like Cody and Sammy in the background, like, what are you doing? And he's like ignoring them, like talk about launching yourself into like the top card. You know what I'm saying? Like, Judgment Day, I'm glad that somebody else is like the top heels. Like, Judgment Day are the top heels. That's why they're working both like Raw and NXT, and they're kind of getting overexposed, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we are forced to talk about them every week because they're basically the only heels in town. So Nakamura, and honestly, like we were been saying, like, Nakamura's been having all of these matches, but with like Bronson Reed and Tommaso Ciampa, like a lot of like mid-card solid matches and stuff like that. That it was like we barely covered them because it didn't feel like there was much at stake. But I did cover when I was like, Shinsuke's looking like he's turning or something. And to finally he literally like kicked his way into the top of the card. So,
and who could blame him? But it is fascinating because you do really think at the start of Raw, like, okay, we're going to Seth and Cody next. That's where the feud is going. Cool. We're picking it back up. It makes sense. And then Shinsuke inserts himself into that. It does make me wonder if that changes where things are going with Cody and Seth, if we're just going to get there, because we need to get back to it, in my opinion. But I'd like Shinsuke as an interim stop on the journey, because I mean, Cody didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, but Cody didn't explicitly challenge Seth here.
No,
they were just staring at each other. So we're going to get there, but maybe Shinsuke is the stop along the way. Like, I don't know where Cody stops along the way. I feel like you need someone like a Brock Lesnar to show up and give him an F5, and then that becomes the feud.
To Cody?
Now, like, I need someone who
we already did that.
No, not Brock, though. Someone like a Brock who could serve as like the distraction from the main prize. Not Brock. No, not Brock. No, you're gonna be like, that literally just happened and ended. But I mean, I'm just wondering, like, what is Cody doing? Because I don't want him and Seth in the same picture yet. Just because Shinsuke needs a moment. Shinsuke deserves a moment.
Well, that's the thing. This all feels to me that we're like on the slow chug to Survivor Series. Like, they're kind of like setting up storylines for teams for that. That's what it feels like.
I mean, Sammy, Seth, KO, Cody. That's a solid team.
Yeah.
Judgment Day, maybe on the. I don't even know who's really on the other end with Shinsuke in the picture too, but we'll see.
Yeah, so I loved it. I loved every second of this. Yes, welcome back, heel Shinsuke. If he starts elbowing people in the nuts, it's gonna be over for me. I will be reviewing it every week. I'm so sorry. Like, I am so sorry.
Oh, that's what really will do it for Mari. Just a nice boom.
When it comes to Shinsuke, yes.
Punch to the nads.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up synonyms for nuts. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm just happy for him because he's one of the people who we haven't really talked so much about on this podcast over the last 2 years, maybe.
I know,
how long
which
we've been
is
doing
a shame.
it. So
I know.
Yeah. But he hasn't had a lot going on. So
I know.
I'm glad we
he
get
is
here.
legit one of my favorite wrestlers. Like,
as he should be.
I love Shinsuke. Yeah. Now,
what else happened?
What everybody's all been waiting for. Let's talk about the Bloodline. I just want to say thank you to all of everybody again at the Job Has a Squadcast Facebook group. We got a lot of questions this week, and it was just amazing to go through all of them. We got a lot of questions about the Bloodline. Julianne asked, in regards to the Bloodline, where do we go from here? I agree. I feel like I'm asking that like every other week. So at SummerSlam, Jey Uso was taking it to Roman. This match was like, I know, Matt, you've not been like feeling the Judgment Day stuff. Like it felt a little slow and plotting at the beginning of it. It then ramped up like near the end, and Jey started taking it to Roman, and it started getting so good. Then you get the solo interference, and then like all of a sudden somebody coming out and kicking Jey. I was like, oh, yeah. And then it's revealed that
serious?
You had a moment. You had a moment. I was so invested in the match. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then like
really? Okay.
And then it was Jimmy, and I was like, dog, what? Because to me it doesn't make sense. But then when you think about it, it makes sense. So I'm so mad, like
I mean, no, I'm with you, but like I just look, the moment that he dragged Jey out of the ring and you see those little white sneakers, that to me, I was like, oh, that's Jim. Okay, yeah, that's his brother. Okay. I mean, it just looked like him to me, despite the coverings and all, so I'm just saying, like, that is an Uso. That was clearly an Uso doing some shenanigans. But I do wish it was somebody else.
See, I thought it was gonna be somebody else. I was literally thinking, like, I'm not gonna lie. I was going through the family tree in my head. I was like,
you're about to take me out because
I legit thought Jimmy was in.
Who did you think? You thought that was The Rock in the little white sneakers, the black tight jeans, the
we're
black
looking
hoodie
at a right now?
I would have been gagged if it was Tamina.
Literally like, I was literally like, what cousin is this? Like, I was
been Tamina. It literally kind of looks a little like Tamina.
Oh
Nobody
my god!
Mina.
Oh my god! Legit, I was trying to fit, and that split second, I was like, "Who else are they related to?"
Tamina in that look. If they did that, I would have been so invested in this story. Heck, Nia Jax, like
again,
looking like it's her. If it was Rikishi in that. And I'm like, oh my god, Rikishi slimmed down. I would have also been gagged. So I just think I need some more Samoans in my wrestling right now. Like, give us some of the family tree. Like, we know that they exist, and it's not like there's a shortage of people that you could pull from to have in the story. That's the gag. Like, you have a million people on the family tree.
Literally going through the roster in my head.
Yes, all of it. So I'm just saying, give Tamina a chance. Could that be the hashtag?
Give Tamina a chance. But yeah, it was like, oh damn it, Jimmy. Like, I was like, not just the.
It is annoying that it was him.
Yeah.
Like, kind of convoluted. That's your twin brother.
Right. So it was interesting. Okay. So on SmackDown, Jey calls out Jimmy, like, what, like, why, and it's kind of funny because Roman's just sitting in the corner, like, laughing at him, right? Laughing at them toe to toe. And basically Jimmy's like, I did it for us. If you won and you become the tribal chief, what happens to the Usos? What if you get corrupted by the power? I was like, this manipulative ass family. I would have been like, I am no longer like, what, my last name is Smith now, because this is some toxic ass family. This is some toxic shit. I'm sorry. Like,
Jay Smith, come on. I like that.
I'm sorry, because it's like, I did it for you, brother. I didn't want us to not be apart. I didn't want you to become like him. I'm not with him. He's corrupt. Like, it was like, you're trying to gaslight me right now. Like, I'm watching you try and gaslight Jey in like real time. No, you are jealous you've always said that Jey, like you were jealous. Jey is the younger twin, and he would have been the tribal chief. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I agree with Roman on a lot of things. And when Jimmy walked out the ring, and Roman was like, "This is the best time for I told you so," I was laughing so hard. I was like, Roman did tell him. Roman told him from the beginning. This was the beginning of this story. He did tell him that. And Jey again laying out. I love that Jey is like the one person who can lay out Roman, Solo, all of them. Like he's like he has the cheat codes. And Jey telling Jimmy to come back as Jimmy slowly walks up the ramp and Jimmy comes back for the hug.
And you hear a little bit of like the it's like the Bianca thing. Bianca hurt herself. Everyone's clapping. So
everyone's like,
hear a little bit of like, yay, reunion. They're about to hug.
Jey blasts him with that kick. It was
and
so
the way Jimmy sold it, like he'd been hit with the hardest thing you can hit with,
you would say,
like a piece of concrete,
like a folding chair on the side of a dock, on the side of a boat, almost you could say. Like that's how hard he was hit. so like I honestly really loved that, but I'm so confused right now. And that let's go back to Julianne's question, because I don't know. Jey literally screams. He said, "I'm out of the Bloodline. I'm out of SmackDown. I'm out of WWE. Deuces, ooses," and walks through the crowd.
Okay, honestly, bro, but please don't come back soon. You just quit. So
I know.
Just don't come
unless
back
they like force him back or something. Maybe they're like, you gotta come back because contracts. But like this is again just pushing Jey to the stratosphere. Like that man is a star. He is a star. And it's just so crazy because like 5 years ago, he was Uso number 2. Like he wasn't even the main twin. You know, I feel like 6 years ago I heard Jey say like 3 sentences. You know, not to be disrespectful to him, but I'm just saying, like, he is now legit main event Jey Uso, and that's so amazing, and I love that for him. You know, and I'm kind of baffled that we're getting like Uso versus Uso. Like, I don't know, like it feels weird. I don't like it. I like them when they're together.
You know,
but it makes sense.
You know what though? You know who I like this for? Jimmy, because to me Jimmy has been Uso B lately, you know, like he's not main event Jimmy Uso.
He's not.
And I just feel like Trinity's husband deserves better. That's all I'm saying. I just want him to be on her level of greatness. So you know, I like this. It doesn't feel like Uso versus Uso to me though, because the Bloodline stuff has been so deeply established that it's not, we have gotten it in the past. Like the Uso versus the Uso. Ooh, it's 2 twins fighting. Like that isn't the story here. It just feels like so much deeper with Roman and Solo.
Again, it feels like a toxic family therapy. Like I'm like, why am I watching family therapy go down in the ring, man?
And again, where's Rikishi?
Yeah, let's break some generational curses here. Like
I want him, he needs to get in there and throw some stink faces around, because I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Like I need it so bad. I need him in there. I need him getting the Superman punch. I need more of the family. We need more of the family before this thing is over, Mari. It's the Bloodline, and there's more of them waiting in the wings to stick their nose into this business. I know I would.
Yeah. So it's like okay, we also got a question from Afla. Bloodline question. After listening to your SummerSlam prediction about bringing out the Anoa'i being ringside family, now after watching SummerSlam, I personally don't feel like the tribal match was it. It didn't feel like tribal combat. I completely agree. Like there was like, we made fun of the Nigerian drums, but like at least they were out there. This just felt like another match. Like it's nothing to signify that this was like tribal combat or anything like that.
Like no hakas, no nut. Like what are we getting?
Nothing.
Where's the,
like what are we doing?
Give us the culture.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just saying. I feel you, but you know what? I appreciate it because like we don't want it to get too corny. You know, like remember that Nigerian drum match with Apollo and whoever he was facing?
Yeah, I just talked about it.
But we didn't need it to get that up like that, you know, appropriated, or you know, we just didn't need to go all the way there, is what I'm saying. So I appreciate that, but I just wanted, like we've said a million times, give us the family, give us like, you know, The Rock's mom. I don't know who's around, but people in the front row, like, you're right. They didn't really put in.
They didn't give us anything. Yeah. So and then
but they can. I think they felt like they didn't have to give us anything.
I guess,
especially with the story beat, maybe they thought that was enough. The turn,
but then they make a good statement here, because Jimmy and Solo did break the rules. Having the others ringside would have been a great addition to the match and signifies the name by having them ringside. So my question is, do you think they missed out of this addition to the match? Regardless of Jimmy and Solo showing up, and as much as I wanted Jey to win, I feel like Roman was the better win in a way to stretch the storyline. And then there's the possibility of what can they do with Jey's path. Like, yeah, I don't understand why we didn't just have like at least a few family members on the side. You know, like
but
like, I don't get it. But
let me fantasy book for a second and just say that the reason they didn't have people is because we're gonna get them as a second bloodline to combat the first bloodline.
Oh,
like
God.
One day, what if we get the Usos, Roman, Solo, the Wise Man all back together? They're on the same page by Survivor Series. It's great. And then The Rock comes out, but then he's not alone.
Who?
He brings Rikishi. He brings Tamina. He brings Nia Jax. He brings who else? Are Alpha and Sika around?
I think that they might be too old, but like, I don't know. It felt like a regular match. Like, we always say that we hate when they give names to matches and the matches are just like regular ass matches or whatever. Like, it was just weird. I don't know.
You know what? I'll contrast this with the MMA rules match that delivered on what the name promised.
Exactly.
And this just had, I think, a little bit too much promise, but also when you have that much hype around something and you give it a fancy original name, like, I mean, people are going to speculate, and so then people will be disappointed.
Yeah,
no matter
I never
what.
thought I'd be like kind of defending the Punjabi prison match, right? Like,
that's stupid.
But at least it was different.
Shout out to Khali. I'm glad someone before SummerSlam asked, who do you think is going to show up as a surprise? And I'm glad that Great Khali has not shown up as a surprise for anything recently.
Yeah.
But it could happen. Maybe he's in the family. Right. Maybe he's like a distant cousin. Khali, let's go.
That's it for like the highlights that are related to SummerSlam. Again, overall, SummerSlam show is pretty good. Let us know. Send us your questions and stuff to and your comments to Job Has a Squadcast about any of the other matches. Like the matches were all good. You know, it was all good. It was a very solid pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But let's get to something that was not on SummerSlam.
That's right.
Rey Mysterio is the new U.S. champion, and I just don't know how we got here. How do we get here?
Whoa, Mari. Okay, I'm curious. I don't know where to start, because I guess the place that we start is that Austin Theory, who was U.S. champion, has had some shenanigans going on. We also have to remember that a couple weeks ago, Santos Escobar and
last
Mysterio
week
fought off. No, well then wasn't that, when did Ray have that head injury scare? Was that a week ago?
It was like 2 weeks ago, Santos Escobar versus Rey Mysterio to figure out who was the number one contender.
Yeah.
Ray, and they pulled Ray and they said Santos won. Then the next week, Santos faced Austin Theory, just regularly because they hated each other that much, and we were confused. Like, why would you fight each other a week before you're supposed to fight each other again? But I guess this was the point because Santos Escobar ended up getting like injured-ish, and then like Austin Theory like continues to attack him in the back or some shit. And so then when it comes to this past week where they're supposed to fight for the championship, when Escobar is on his way out, Austin Theory again attacks him again. So then Ray steps in to take his place, and then Ray wins. But
and Santos also was like, Ray, you need to take my spot. Just go out there and do it for me. Make me proud, Dad. Whatever he said, you know.
I'm so confused, right? And I just like, I don't know. Is this a kayfabe injury? Like,
yes, it was kayfabe.
But those crutches, I don't know. They looked
real.
They did. So I'm like, I'm just so confused. Like, I'm confused.
Not. I guess I'm not, because I feel like what we had going on here was a weird story in that it didn't feel like it was really about Austin Theory or even the US Championship. More than anything to me, it feels like it was about the LWO. The LWO has had their own story and their own dynamics really brewing from like back in February, March, whenever Santos and Ray started to have their thing and trade masks and all that fun stuff, those fun shenanigans. And I just feel like it's good to get it off of Austin Theory. Like, I feel like a hypocrite in saying this, but I don't mind that there wasn't more of a build around Theory, more of a focus or him as a focal point before this happened. I'm okay with him not having that championship because it just feels stale, which to me makes this okay. But it is funny to see Rey Mysterio winning the US Championship in 2023. Like, sir, you've been around a while.
Exactly. And so I'm reading here that when Ray, like, when that match him and Escobar had, that was a real injury. Like, Escobar actually did like kind of knock his head silly. And so but Escobar was always supposed to go over clean over Ray. So why now?
Why are you? I guess I wonder, Mark, are you saying like, why did Santos not end up with the championship?
Yes, like that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, my thought process, if Santos,
we're gonna get that match. We're gonna get the Ray versus Santos match, and
but then even that doesn't make sense to me because you did all of this work to get Santos and the LWO over as faces to then just turn them heel again against Rey Mysterio doesn't make sense.
Face versus face is what I think it's gonna be.
But face versus face is boring.
Hey, I'm not telling you what I think is going to be good. I just think that's what's going to happen because Santos was supposed to be in that match with Austin Theory. Then Ray took his place. So it's only natural that Santos and Ray face off in like a respect type of match. And that's the whole story with the LWO, the Latino World Order. It's all like, let's have these people together, showing respect, celebrating the culture, and I mean, good for them, but it's just weird because I do wish Santos would have the focal point. I mean, Ray's been around. Like, he didn't give him the North American Championship. Don't give him the US Championship. Santos could have that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Derek asks, are there any stars you'd like to see make a run on NXT since more and more stars are starting to have stints down there? And
let me see.
My thought process is like you could send Madcap Moss back down there.
It's the people that
could do something.
Down
there.
Sure, it's the people that you don't think of that we would put in the spot. That's the hard part about this question is that there are so many people that we could think of that would do great things in NXT, but the people who come to mind immediately don't need to be there. I would put a lot of those people, like the Emmas and Madcaps of the world down there. I think Tegan Knox is still somewhere, so put her there. I don't know. I'm like looking at the roster page, thinking about it, but who comes to mind for you, Mari?
Yeah, I think because I don't want to send people back down that were just down there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so my thought process is like Baron Corbin's doing a great job down there, back down there. So maybe send Austin Theory back. Maybe, yeah, like I don't know. I think that I like that it's a viable option now. You know, maybe Jay's going to NXT. You know what I'm saying? He quit SmackDown. Maybe he's gonna go to NXT.
Oh, that'd be great.
You know?
Yeah, put him on NXT. And because I think the thing with NXT is you could put people down there who need to be repackaged. But I love what they did with Dom, like, and the NXT
Judgment
North
Day
American
is
Championship.
literally down there every week. Like,
it's nice when they put like the hot acts there at least for a minute for a stint.
Yeah.
We have to remember even Finn had to return to NXT doing his thing
The New
there
Day
for a
did.
little bit. The New Day did. So I mean, honestly, you could put anyone down there if you ask me, but I do like that for Jay. I think that's a good answer as things are like how things are being timed. But yeah, just throw everyone down in NXT. Why not? Come on.
Yeah.
Anyone who doesn't have anything else to do, who deserves to be on
Exactly.
TV. That's my cop-out answer.
Cop-out answer. And then finally, Stan T, a wonderful guest, asked, do you think that we're experiencing a wrestling boom? I truly do. Like, there's so much wrestling and so much good wrestling to watch. Like, it's so hard to keep up with everything. Like,
yeah, and you know what? I will also say it just feels like, and by the numbers, this is also something else to look at. Like, how are ticket sales doing? How are the arenas in terms of selling out and the merch and all of that? And everything I've seen has indicated that things are, I don't know if they're at the peak, probably not at the peak, but they're definitely at a high. And so that's really awesome for WWE. I mean, I will also just reference last night, because of a recommendation from Wes. Shout out to Wes. Wes recommended looking at the Our Fake History podcast, which kind of has a 3-part series diving into this question of like, was wrestling ever real? And I surprisingly am like, oh my gosh, I'm learning so much about the origins of wrestling as they talk about the 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. And like, there were peaks at different points even back then. And I feel like we're at a peak, even though it might be hard to appreciate that peak as people who are so deep in it. So that was my way of shouting out West. And I need to finish out that podcast series.
Yeah.
But also, like, it feels good, Mari. Like, I don't know what is happening in wrestling, but I love the taste of it. It's like honey.
Yeah, it's like it's so much good content that you could like pick and choose from. Like, it's unfortunate like we don't get to talk about all of it because we don't have the time to be here that long. You know, Derek asked me a great question about Metaphor on NXT with Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend and Noam Dar. I always forget the fourth guy's name, but I do like that comedy act. They're amazing. Like, AEW has some pretty good matches. We haven't talked about Trinity's matches on Impact. You know, it's just like it's just so hard. It's just so hard to really be able to cover it all and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you know what? I will also say, like, WWE deserves extra kudos just for how well they're doing right now, especially with, really good things over at Impact. AEW exists still, believe it or not, even though we haven't really talked about them. So, I mean, kudos to WWE. A huge conversation that we haven't had here on the podcast that I just want to reference is the AEW women's division and what the hell are they doing? Because they're essentially non-existent on many shows or booked as if it was 2003 and they're given like almost no time. And I love WWE for giving us what we want right now. They haven't always done it. I mean, the predictions I had for SummerSlam, I think were like so far off because I was thinking about it through the Vince McMahon lens. But Triple H is giving us new, beautiful shit. It's great. And I can't complain. We can't complain. It's amazing.
Yeah. And anything that I don't like, I just ignore. So.
Yeah. Isn't that the magic? Isn't that the lesson right now? Just ignore it. But like Dom, we have Iyo, we have Rhea, we have, Roman and the Bloodline. Like, what are Cody? What the heck? Look at him.
Bianca.
Look at where he is. Bianca, Gunther, all the people. Yeah. It's great.
All right, that's it for the highlights of the week in wrestling. Again, all the highlights can be found in a handy playlist, either in the show notes or show descriptions. Again, thank you to everybody who sent us questions this week, and thank you to Jacob for that wonderful audio note. Let us know if there's if you want to send in an audio note, you can always reach out to me and Matt. Matt, where can the people find you?
Oh, well, the people can find me at Matt Scotchy W on the social media, on X, just x.com, Twitter, all that stuff. And, I would say keep up with what's happening. I won't steal your plugs this week. Obviously, you could find me here on the Wrestling RHAPup, but you could also find me on Crime Scene, which I'm sure Mari will talk about. I don't want to spoil it, but we get into a little bit of it's wrestling adjacent. I probably didn't talk too much about wrestling, but very wrestling adjacent. So we'll get there. And also, me and the one and only Grace Leader have been talking about Heartstopper over on post-show recaps, which I would also encourage you to check out. We'll be doing a few more episodes this month, but we already did the episode covering episode 1 and just talking about our thoughts on the series overall. Then we did another one where we went over the rest of the season. So we just kind of binged the rest of it and talked about it. And now for the rest of the month, we're going to be doing special podcasts with special guests talking about certain topics that relate to the season, like things like coming out and intersectionality and all of that. So check that out over at Post Show Recaps. And that's really most of what I'm up to. I'll also just give a shout out, like follow me on Twitter outside of podcasting. Like I'm very excited to be doing some cool stuff for work. And one of the things is that I have a panel that is in the running for South by Southwest, a big conference in March. So like vote for my panel. Why not? Or, I was on the Weather Channel. So like watch that video. But I'm just excited to also be here with the one and only Mari. Mari wasn't with me on the Weather Channel, and it was not as cool as it could have been.
Oh,
so
sorry.
There we go. Yeah, no. No, that wasn't shade at you. That I just feel like you could be everywhere and booked everywhere. But speaking of being booked everywhere, Mari, where have you been? But where can the people find you?
Of course, you can find me on Twitter or x.com, whatever, at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. Like Matt said, this past week on Crime Scene, we reviewed The Lady of Silence with him, me and Sarah Kenny, and Matt reviewed The Lady of The Lady of Silence, where she was a female wrestler, Mexican wrestler, who killed all of these old women, like just straight serial killed them.
No one taught her about kayfabe.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so it was such a great episode. So go check that out by going to robhasawebsite.com/crime feed to subscribe to Crime Scene Podcast. Also coming up, we are going to be reviewing How to Become a Cult Leader with the Podfather himself, Robert Cesternino. And that was a really fun record. So definitely go subscribe so you can hear that. That's coming up this next week here. I am also on Twitch at twitch.tv/Mari Talks Too Much. I just finished up my Dredge streaming, so now I got to figure out what's the next game I might stream over there. But if you go and follow me, you'll get notified every time I go live. I normally go live for our Goose Goose Duck lobbies and stuff like that whenever I play that. So definitely just make sure you go follow me over there. I was on the live feed updates with Taryn this week. It's Big Brother season, which is weird because summer's almost over, but it is Big Brother season. And I did get to feature on the live feed updates this week. So if you want to go listen to the Big Brother feed, you can go to robhasawebsite.com. /RHAPup feeds. Yeah, that's where you get all that as well. If you haven't already, please go subscribe to us at robhasawebsite.com /wrestling feed over here at the Wrestling RHAPup. Yeah.
Wait,
Yes, Matt.
Mari, have you
What?
you've been all over the BB streets, not only on
Yes.
Twitter, but you were also on the Patron show.
Yes, exactly. So if you haven't already, this is a great time to become an RHAP patron, because if you go to www.patreon.com/RHAP, you can become a patron and you get exclusive access to exclusive podcasts like one I was on. I was on the feedback episode for this week for Big Brother with Rob Sesternino, where we watched some live feeds of Big Brother and we talked about them as we watched, and we had patrons in the comments like watching along with us. It was a really, really fun show, and the only way you can access it is if you become a RHAP patron. So definitely go check that out. And of course, like we said, please, if you want to join the Job Has a Squadcast Facebook group, reach out to us and we'll put you in there. We put a couple people in there recently. It's so fun. That's where we pull most of our questions. We love talking to everybody over there in Job Has a Squadcast. Follow us on Twitter at Wrestling RHAPup. That's at Wrestling RHAPUP. And you can always send us any emails or long form questions or audio notes to wrestling@RHAPhasawebsite.com.
Yes.
Woo.
Yes. Woo! Oh, take a breath. Take a breath. And thank you so much, Jacob, for that crisp audio. I love it. I love it. Just like hearing you, Mari. It's been good to have you like easing us into this Big Brother season, because there's already been some shenanigans and some N-words dropped, and I love to get past that now. So thank you for that.
And so for me, Matt Scott, remember, wrestling is for everybody. Not all wrestling is for everyone. We will see you next week. Bye.
Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris, and we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. Moolah Ric Flair, showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, fluxier than the air, From the rings and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris, and we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.